Welcome to Storytime presented by Be Empowered Media. Today, I want to tell you a fictional and empowering story about Adam. Please enjoy this inspirational story and remember to subscribe to this channel for more motivational content. Adam Williams was just 21 when his life was stolen from him. He had dreams, modest ones, of becoming a teacher, buying his mother a house, and one day writing a book. But one evening, as he walked home from a friend's place on Chicago's South Side, flashing lights, guns drawn, and yelling officers turned his world upside down. He was arrested, accused of a robbery and murder that had occurred just blocks away. He fit the vague description, a young black man in a hoodie, and that was enough. Despite proclaiming his innocence from the moment of his arrest, the legal system moved swiftly and mercilessly. Eyewitnesses, confused and pressured, identified him. There was no physical evidence, no motive, and no justice. Within 6 months, Adam was convicted and sentenced to life in prison. Prison was a daily assault on his spirit. The cold walls, the constant noise, and the crushing isolation were nearly unbearable. He saw men break down, give up, or become numb. But Adam made a choice. He would not be one of them. He would not let a false conviction write the final chapter of his life. He began reading every book he could get his hands on, legal textbooks, autobiographies, novels, and even poetry. He started writing, at first to stay sane, then to document the injustice he faced. What began as a way to cope slowly became a calling. Every night, he wrote about the system that failed him, the pain of being silenced, and the fight to stay human in a place designed to strip that away. 10 years into his sentence, everything changed. A non-profit organization that specialized in wrongful convictions took notice of Adam's case. They dug into the records, uncovered key evidence that had been overlooked, and obtained a confession from the actual perpetrator. Finally, a court acknowledged what Adam had been saying for a decade. He was innocent. Adam walked out of prison with nothing but the clothes on his back, a box of journals, and a fire still burning inside him. The world outside had changed, but his purpose hadn't. He took his writings and turned them into a powerful book titled Shadows of Justice. It was raw, gripping, and unflinchingly honest. The book hit a nerve. Readers were outraged, inspired, and moved. Adam was invited onto national news shows, podcasts, and into college lecture halls. He wasn't just telling his story, he was giving voice to the voiceless. His experience wasn't unique, and that's what made it terrifying. His words helped awaken a sleeping nation to the cracks in its justice system. Lawmakers began referencing shadows of justice during criminal justice reform debates. States re-examined policies around eyewitness testimony, false confessions, and access to quality defense. Adam's story didn't just open eyes, it moved laws. But for him, writing a book wasn't enough. He wanted to fight for others still trapped inside. With no formal college education but an unwavering determination, Adam applied to law school. He knew the odds were stacked against him. Admissions committees might see felon before author, prisoner before potential. But he didn't back down. He applied with the same boldness that carried him through a decade of injustice. To his amazement, and the shock of many, he was accepted into one of Chicago's top law schools. He stepped into his first class nervous but driven. He was older than most of his peers, but his experience gave him something no textbook could teach. Every case study, every legal theory, every court ruling was personal to him. Law school was grueling, the pressure was relentless, and doubts crept in often. But Adam had already survived something much harder. Late nights of study reminded him of prison nights filled with writing. The library became his new cell. But this time he was free, and he was choosing to be there. He graduated with honors, passed the Illinois State Bar, and became a licensed attorney. The same system that once wrongfully condemned him now gave him permission to defend others. It was the ultimate act of poetic justice. Adam didn't just win his freedom, he earned his power. Adam opened his own law firm focused on criminal defense and post-conviction relief. He represented those society had written off, those with no money, no voice, no hope. Every time he walked into a courtroom, he carried the weight of those still locked away unjustly. He fought as if his own life was on the line, because once, it had been. His reputation grew. Judges respected him. Prosecutors knew he came prepared. Clients trusted him not just because of his degree, but because he understood. He had been on the other side of the bars. He had heard the gavel fall. He knew what it felt like to be forgotten. Outside the courtroom, Adam continued to push for change. He worked with legislators to craft policy reforms and helped lead campaigns that led to more stringent laws on evidence handling and access to appeals. He also mentored formerly incarcerated youth, helping them rebuild their lives with purpose and pride. He started a foundation offering scholarships to exonerated individuals who wanted to pursue education. He funded reentry programs focused on healing, not just surviving. Adam's legacy became not just what he had endured, but what he had built from it. His scars became the blueprint for others' second chances. Despite all his accomplishments, Adam remained grounded. He often visited the prison where he had spent his darkest days, not out of bitterness, but to remind others that hope was real. He didn't want sympathy. He wanted systemic change, and he was proving day by day that it was possible. His story became a modern legend, one of resilience, redemption, and relentless hope. Adam never asked to be a symbol, but he embraced the responsibility it brought. He had turned 10 stolen years into a lifetime of impact, and every person he helped reminded him that the fight had been worth it. Adam's journey is proof that your circumstances do not define your future. He was wronged, silenced, caged, and yet he rose. He wrote, he fought, he learned, and he changed the very system that tried to bury him. His life is a powerful reminder that no matter how bleak the path may seem, you must never give up. In the darkest chapters, your purpose may be hidden, but it's never gone. Keep walking, keep believing. The next page could be your breakthrough.